Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, everyone. Hello, kitty. Sorry, I'm talking to the cat. Oh my goodness. This is a way to start off a live cast. This is live TV, in case you didn't notice. Those of you that are watching the replay, sorry about that. I am super excited, and apparently Chase is super excited to be here with you today. So we will see how this goes, and hopefully we won't knock over any equipment. But if we do, we'll just keep rolling with it. All right. It is Tuesday. How is your Tuesday going? I hope it is going magnificently. I hope that you have had a terrific Tuesday, and I'm super excited to be here with you. My name is Brenda Reynolds. This is the F Words of Life. We are streaming on social, on Facebook, as well as on Instagram. So I appreciate you joining me here live. And I also really enjoy and appreciate you watching the replays if you're unable to join live. That means as much to me as you joining live. I love having live people on so that I don't feel like I'm just talking to my camera all alone in a room. However, it's equally important that you have access to the replays so that you can watch these at your convenience. The goal is to do this daily dose of motivation, of inspiration, of training and coaching, Monday through Friday. Right now we're focused on the F Words Reset, which is kind of like hitting a timeout every day, hitting a pause button and saying, I'm going to take 15 to 30 minutes to work on myself in the specific framework that we've been going through. We're in week 3. This is actually day 12. So congratulations. And I love that you've been following along. And congratulations to all of you that have completed up till now. If for some reason you've missed one of the videos, don't worry about it. You can go back and watch the replays, like I said, at any time. They're all located on Facebook. At the F Words of Life. Okay, now I have cat number 2. There's only 2, so we've had an appearance from both up to now. So this, like I said, can get interesting to hopefully not knock over any equipment, but we will see. Live TV, love it. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, so we've been going through our framework. Week 1, if you missed any of it, like I said, you can go back. If you missed any of it, that's okay. Stick with today's video. It'll give you inspiration to go back and watch. There's a 14-page guidebook that you can download. That's at the FWordsOfLife.com/FWordsReset. I encourage you to do that. It's a great tool that you can have to follow along with the questions and exercises that we did in week 1 and week 2. And what we're into last week, what we did is we focused on vision and goals. And now what we're doing is we're amping that up by moving into mindset and beliefs. And next week, we're going to be moving on to talking about habits, routines, and actions. So it's kind of the 3-part combo that is, I call it the formula for success, right? It's either going to be your formula for failure because you're going to miss pieces of it. So you can go back and you can actually do a diagnostic with yourself and go, okay, well, what part did I not really key in on? Was it my thoughts and my beliefs? Was it my actions and implementation? Was it I didn't get clear on my goals and my vision? And so I really wanted to give you a framework or a formula, if you will, so that you can use this over and over and over. And we'll be using it together over and over and over as you work on each of the F words of your life. So yesterday, just so we keep stringing this together and piecing it together, because it is like putting together a giant 1,000 piece, puzzle. And we have to put the framework, which is the outside of the puzzle together first. And now we're filling in little small pieces because this is your life. It's not just one thing. It's not just one change or improvement. It's just not just one place that you want to elevate and live a more fulfilled life. This is your entire life, and yet we can only do it in these small chunks. And that's why this is your daily bite-sized coaching that I want you to really look forward to, get excited about. I do, even if I feel like I'm sitting in a room talking by myself. I tell you, it's not easy. right? Knowing if, okay, is this making an impact? That's the reason I encourage you guys to use the comments, not to give me validation in the sense of, oh, Brenda, you're so great, but is this the content that you need? Is this content resonating with you? Is this helping you have little shifts every single day in your thinking, in creating and casting that vision and having a hope for your future that's better than it was yesterday? If so, let me know. I want to hear that. I want to know that this is making that impact. If it's not, let me know. Let me know the biggest areas where your challenges are. My job is to do the research, read and consume everything that I can, learn, and then re-assimilate it back for you in very tangible bite-sized pieces. So yesterday, what we talked about is we talked about 3 different types of mindsets that you can have. 3 mindsets for success, for achievement that really are going to help you in your everyday life. We talked about having a growth mindset, right? Being open and flexible and always learning. We talked about having an ownership mindset, never being a victim, truly owning 100% of the outcomes, good or bad. And we talked about having a gratitude mindset, that when you sprinkle in gratitude to everything into your life, you know, it changes and shifts the energy. And so for those of you that were here yesterday, I want to know, did you complete the exercise? So whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on the replay, most of you right now are watching it on the replay, which is, like I said, fantastic. This content is for you. If you're watching it on the replay, you can do hashtag replay in the comments. That can just be the one comment you do. Let me know that you're watching it on the replay. If you did the exercise from yesterday, which was expressing your gratitude to 3 people in some way, let me know how that went. Were they surprised? Did you make somebody's day? How did it feel to you? So you can use that comment box, not just to, you know, I don't know, put an emoji in, which I love, or give me the thumbs up and the hearts, which I absolutely love, but use that comment box to give me feedback, to interact. Even if you're watching this on the replay, this is live broadcast. I don't go back and edit this. And so be in it live with me, even if you're watching on the replay. Answer my questions, respond, because I do go back and I read the comments. I see what was posted. I see where your thinking is, where your challenges are, where your successes are. And so again, if you missed any of the replays, you can watch them on facebook.com/the-FWords-of-life. Instagram only keeps them up for 24 hours. Facebook, they're up there in your library for as long as you want them. Share them with other people. Share them with your family, your coworkers, whatever the case may be, these are for you. So this week is mindset and your thoughts and your beliefs. And today what we're going to do, so yesterday we talked about mindset. Now look, mindset in and of itself is a subject, and I said this yesterday, I could teach on for the next decade or the rest of my life every single day, and we still wouldn't cover everything. So I gave you 3 types of mindsets yesterday that you can start working on and integrating into your life. Again, bite-sized pieces. We're going to be talking about mindset and growth, around mindset and thinking for as long as I'm doing coaching and training and speaking and writing, because it's one of my passions, and to me it's one of the most important and critical ways that you can make shifts very easily and quickly. It will tie to creating new actions that you're doing. If you're only doing the actions and your thinking is not in alignment, that's where you're going to get undermined. And so yesterday we talked, like I said, just a capsule piece of mindset. Today we're going to talk about thinking, and tomorrow we're going to really dive that down into beliefs, how your thinking leads to these core beliefs that you have, and what are we going to do about it. So that's our agenda. Because if I jumped in right with, okay, you know what, let's start with goals and let's get into action. Goals and action, goals and action, and goals and action. And like I said, I've been coaching over 15 years, tens of thousands of hours. I think, 20 to 25,000 hours is what I've clocked by this point of coaching and training groups and speaking. So what I've found is when you just go from, I'm going to do a goal to an action, and you don't change and you're not working on kind of the wiring, the hard wiring in your brain, we undermine ourselves immediately. It's really hard to get out of the gates. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today. And on Facebook, I put, today discover how your stinkin thinking can be your biggest roadblock. Because even though we're going to cover a pretty heavy topic today, I also want you to kind of just look at this from the outside in. Try not to get so attached to it. You know, have a little bit of fun with this. Make it into a game, because you're going to be an observer of your own thoughts over the next 24 hours. So let me tell you about the two types of thinking that we have hardwired in our brain. Number one, we have autopilot thinking. Autopilot thinking is a wonderful thing. It is not that one of these is better than the other, or one of these is good and one of these is bad. Autopilot thinking is that automated process of doing something where you don't even have to think about it. I literally have cats climbing everywhere today. I don't know what is going on. So sorry if my attention gets pulled. I'm hoping nothing goes crashing down. Hey, you know, like I said, live TV people, this is the entertainment you get from my office and studio here. All right, autopilot thinking. Most studies say that we're on autopilot thinking for at least 50% of our day, which is pretty crazy to think about how many times you do something just automatically. It really does automate things, which is a very valuable thing, because we have a lot of things going on in our world. So having things automated in our thinking can be a very positive thing. Think about if I'm going to pick up my water bottle right here and drink out of it. I don't have to think about, okay, I need to wrap my hand around it, I need to put this much pressure, I need to put it up to my lips, I need, you know, it's not that I don't have to think about it, right? It's just automatic. You know, if you're just sipping your cup of coffee, it's automatic. You go to brush your teeth, you grab your toothbrush, whichever hand is your dominant hand. Same with writing. If I say, okay, make sure you have your notebooks, which I hope you do. I hope you have your guidebook and you're taking notes and jotting this down. If I say, write this down, you don't pick up a pen or a pencil and go, well, what do I do with this thing? And which hand do I put it in? It's automated, right? Now, was it always automated? That's the interesting question. And this is where we can really learn about how our brain works in a very non-scientific way, just in your own personal experience, right? It wasn't always the case that I could pick up this water bottle and just drink out of it without thinking, right? Have you ever seen a little kid with a sippy cup? There's a reason they have a sippy cup with the lid on top with very little holes, so that when they knock it over 47 times, it doesn't go flying everywhere, right? It's a process. We have to learn the physicality of how to do these things. Same with writing. You learn how to write with either your right or your left hand. Now, the interesting thing is I could challenge you and say, I want you to spend the next 12 months, and if you're a dominant right-handed writer, that's your dominant hand, I want you to go through a process and teach yourself how to write with your left hand. You absolutely could do that if you so desired and had the motivation. Let's say I give you $1 million, right? Now you've got incentive. Could you train yourself to write with your non-dominant hand? 100%. Are you going to suck at it at first? 100%, right? It's going to be awful. So why am I talking about this in terms of this automated things that we do without even thinking? Because it's how, again, we do so much of what we do during our day. If over 50% of what we're doing is autopilot, hey, you guys need to get down. I'm on a live cast. Hey, you're going to knock something over and something's going to go boom, and mom is not going to be happy. I swear I'm not the crazy cat lady, but I do have 2 cats, and they're brother and sister, and today, for some reason, they have decided it's the day to try to interfere with the live cast as much as possible. All right, so why is this important? Because if you're on a loop in your own thinking, we all have these, like I said, these things that we do. Sorry, let me get refocused. We all have these things that we do without thinking, right? They're on autopilot. Well, you also have an entire programming of thinking and thoughts and beliefs that you are cycling through every single day without even realizing it. So today's episode is specifically on how do we start unearth the thoughts that you're already thinking, because you are thinking them whether you realize it or not. And we can't start to shift anything or change anything, which is what we're going to focus on tomorrow, until we know what your thoughts are specifically today, because we're going to get very specific in changing thought A into thought B, which is the second type of thinking, intentional thinking. So you have autopilot thinking and intentional thinking. And Intentional thinking is that, okay, I don't know how to write with my left hand, so I'm going to have to concentrate very hard and put all of my conscious thought and be fully present and no distractions and be able to do that, right? Think about when you were learning how to drive a car, and especially think about it when you were learning how to drive a stick shift, okay? Could you think about anything else on the planet, much less do anything, while you were learning, okay, I got to push in the clutch, I got to push in the brake, then I got to put it into gear, right? Then I'm going to let off the brake, and then I'm going to slowly let off the clutch, and then I'm going to push the accelerator down, right? And hope that I don't stall and roll backwards down a hill, because this was before the new cars that stop you from rolling backwards, right? This was the reality of us learning stick. Now think about it. If you drive stick all the time, women, right? You can put on your makeup, you can talk on your cell phone, which is illegal, don't do that. You can eat a hamburger, you can do 47 other things while driving a stick shift in traffic. Not the safest thing, don't recommend it, but we've all had that experience at one time or another, where suddenly something that was so difficult took 1,000% of our brain capacity to focus only on the clutch, the brake, the gas, the gear shift, right? That's all we could think about. Once it became automated, then we can do other things. Now, this is going to be great also. I'm teaching this framework to you now because when we build habits, once you build habits and we do habit stacking, if you can automate them and then attach something else to it, then you've got some magic. So this is going to work in our actions too. So I want you to understand this autopilot thing from a thinking perspective as well as a doing perspective. Now, why is this important when it comes to your programming? We all have programming in our brain for however long you've been on the planet, subconsciously or intentionally. Things have been put into your space, into your mind, into your belief system over and over and over. Those could have been positive. For most of us, those have been negative. And that's not because anybody was intentionally trying to hurt us, although I know some of you have gone through very difficult situations. Maybe you were a product of child abuse, you had an abusive parent, an alcoholic parent. Maybe you were in a really dysfunctional relationship early in your life or later in your life, and people were telling you things, right? You're too fat, you're not smart enough. Why can't you do this like your sister? Something like that, which a parent who loves you, right, doesn't even mean to be critical and compare you and make you feel less than by saying, why can't you be more like your brother in this situation? They're not even saying overall, right? And so we get these messages. We get messages from our culture, from our news, from the media, from pop culture. We get messages from our churches and our communities of who we should be, how we should show up. And what happens is that starts becoming the dialogue in our head. That starts becoming our belief system that gets hardwired into our brain. It gets really into the neural nets of our thinking. And why autopilot can be so good, while autopilot can be so good, it also can be so detrimental if your thoughts that are on autopilot are negative, and especially if they're on a negative loop. If you have a core belief of something like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, no one loves me, I'm too fat, I'm too old, I'm not smart enough, right? You've got all of these different thoughts about yourself, right? They're going to judge me if I do this. We all, and I would challenge you, if you can bring me somebody who doesn't have this somewhere in their hardwiring, we will make millions of dollars together, okay? Everybody has this. It's just part of being human. Because even if we had the most loving parents who did the best that they could, which I believe a lot of us had, including me, there were still things that got programmed in there because I was a child, and sometimes it was an interpretation. So let me give you an example. One of my stories. When I was 5, little baby Brenda, 5 years old, my mom was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease, and she got very, very sick for a long time. Now, the good news of the story is she actually went into remission after 4.5 years, and she lived another 20 years after her original diagnosis, which she was not supposed to do, okay? So I'll just fast forward to that. She did pass away when I was 26, but she didn't die when I was 5. So I count my blessings for that extra 20 years. But at the time when I was 5, I was very outgoing. I was the youngest of 5 kids. I very much was the center of attention. And when my mom got sick, something happened. I became very aware that she could die. And that's not something that's, a 5-year-old should have to go through. And I'm not saying, oh, poor Brenda. What I want to illustrate to you is what happened in my thinking. Because I went from, okay, I can do no wrong, as a child should feel, right? To, okay, I want mommy to love me. I don't want mommy to go away, because at one point they did actually share with us that she may leave the planet. And that's a whole nother way that they told us in story there. But I was very much afraid because I could hear her getting sick. She was going through chemotherapy once a week, and then it went to twice a week, and she would be violently ill for 2 or 3 days and in bed. And I was in the bedroom next to her, and walls are thin. And like I said, she wasn't doing any of this on purpose. My dad and my mom were amazing. How they even got through that with all of us kids and paid the bills and put food on the table, I don't know. So again, there's no blame, there's no anger, there's no anything. But think about this little 5-year-old, right? Sitting in the room, hearing mommy sick and mommy might die. All of a sudden, my thought was, okay, well, maybe if I'm good enough, maybe if I'm perfect, I don't make any mistakes, right? Then she won't go away. The people that I loved the most, I didn't want to leave, right? Well, maybe if I'm invisible, right? If I'm really quiet, then she'll get better because it won't be distracting her. She can put her focus. Now, again, I'm not saying it was logical thinking at a 5-year-old, but this is kind of how I started to act. It was like, okay, withdraw, do everything perfect, don't make a mistake, don't draw attention to yourself, don't get less than an A at school, don't get in trouble at school, don't fight with your siblings, just do everything right. If you do everything right, everything somehow magically will be okay. Mommy will love you, mommy won't go away, and everything will be okay if you just do everything right. For some reason, that's where my thinking went, my little 5-year-old thinking. Well, then my 5-year-old neural connections up here, as I became an adult, what I noticed is, now guys, this didn't happen overnight. This was a long time of looking at my belief systems and my thoughts and where did they come from? And this isn't the only place. I'm just giving you one example where my mom was doing the absolute best she could to live and survive. And she was going through literal hell so that she could continue to stay alive and be a parent to me. So even with the best of intentions, I interpreted it, and basically over my lifetime, along with a million other messages that I received and perceived, then suddenly it was, I'm not good enough the way I am. That became my pervasive thought. That became my pervasive belief. I'm not good enough the way that I am right now, which means I need to do something better. I need to be perfect. I need to do it in the perfect way. I need to overcompensate. By the way, I've done therapy as well. Not me as the therapist. I've gone to therapy after my mom passed away and different times in my life. I believe in therapy. It's very different than what I do. It's coaching. It can be very healing and help you understand. So if that's something that you need, I encourage you 100%. That's not what this is, but we are going to uncover probably some heavy stuff as we look at what are your pervasive thoughts, and specifically those not so positive pervasive thoughts. The things like I said already, I'm not good enough. No one loves me. People don't like me. I'm an imposter. That's a big one, having imposter syndrome. I'm not smart enough. I love this one. I'm too young, and then I'll get I'm too old from 2 different people, right? I'm too old to do it. I'm too young to do it. Well, neither one of those are true, right? So tomorrow, as we continue to unpack this, we're going to talk about how to take these from autopilot, because right now, guys, that's what's happening. You're on this autopilot loop of this negative stinkin' thinking that you don't even realize. And maybe you've done this before. And maybe it's just time to go a little bit deeper. Like I said, it took me years to understand that part of my feeling not worthy, not good enough the way that I am, was because that 5-year-old thought somehow this was my fault, that mom was sick. And then if I could do everything right, then somehow it would make her better. Makes no logical sense, but that's not how we get hardwired into this thinking. And like I said, it was compounded with other things, with being different in school and being made fun of and, all those different things. Now, what I can tell you is We're doing some hard work today, right? We're going to do some heavy lifting. It can be emotional. That's okay. You support it. I support you. I'm proud of you, because when we start to shift this into intentional thoughts, which is what we're going to focus on tomorrow, then that's where the magic starts happening. Now, why did I share going from writing from your right hand to your left hand when we started this? I was talking about, okay, autopilot is I can write with my right hand because I'm right-handed. That's my dominant hand. But if I said, hey, I'll give you $1 million at the end of 12 months, which I'm not, by the way, so you can't take me up on this, but I'll give you $1 million at the end of 12 months if you can write as well with your left hand as you can with your right hand currently, if your left hand is your non-dominant hand. You can teach yourself how to do it, but it's going to be work, right? It's going to suck at first. You're going to be bad at it. It's going to get frustrating. You're going to forget. You're going to start writing with your right hand again, whatever the case. Shifting your thinking is the most powerful thing you can do, and yet it is just as difficult, if not more so, than the handedness thing. So today, your task, your action step, is to start to become aware and uncover what is some of your stinking thinking. And yes, I keep saying it like that because I want to lighten this a little bit, because we all have this. This doesn't make you a bad. This doesn't make you a horrible person. This doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make your parents wrong. It doesn't make your grandparents wrong. It doesn't make your church and your school wrong. It doesn't make your community wrong. It's not about that. We all get these messages, even when it's from people who love us the most. It happens, and we internalize it, and we come up with these statements, these thoughts, these core beliefs about ourselves. And usually what I found in all of my coaching, all of my reading, and all of my studying is usually it comes down to something about being not worthy enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy in some way. But what I want you to do is I want you to find your flavor of this. What's your shade? If I'm, royal blue, what's your shade of blue, right? If you're in the blue family, you've got some kind of language, because this, when we can get it down to a sentence that you think you say, we can start to shift it. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to focus on shifting it intentionally, and we're going to create statements, and you're going to be able to anchor back to these, and it will start to shift everything. Again, writing with my right hand versus my left hand, it's going to be a process. This isn't overnight. I don't have the magic pill. If you do, let me know. Let's go sell it together and make millions of dollars. So far, I haven't found one in 20 plus years of personal development learning. So we got to do the work. This is part of the work. So today, your only action is to become an observer. Try to take yourself out of yourself when you catch yourself into a negative loop. You wake up in the morning and you go, oh crap, I'm going to suck at that presentation today. Okay, what was that about? Why are we starting out catastrophizing what's even going to happen? You're done before you even get started. Where does that come from? What is that about? Okay, I'm going to be judged. Maybe that's at the core of it. So I say, okay, I'm going to suck at it. Let's go a question deeper. Well, where'd that come from? Well, I don't feel confident. Why is that? Well, they're going to judge me. Why is that? Well, because I'm not going to do it like so-and-so. Well, why is that important? Well, I don't think I'm good enough. Get to a root thought or belief, okay? Write this down as you go through your day, as you observe. Like I said, this is the hard work, but this is where the magic is. And I promise you, if you stick with this, this is where the true transformation occurs. The actions and the habits that we're going to focus on next week will become much easier if we can get your thinking in alignment. That's the reason I'm spending this entire week on mindset, thinking, limiting beliefs, how we shift that. And we're going to spend much more time on this in the future with coaching and training, because you're going to backslide. I backslide. I'll tell you authentically, I did not have a good morning this morning. I was not looking forward to doing this session, which hopefully does not come through, because by the time I got on, I had shifted that. But I got into some stinking thinking this morning. I was like, this was not a good Tuesday. Like, my thoughts were just in the crapper. And it was like, what the hell are you doing? Who the hell are you to be, teaching these people? Well, who am I? I'm somebody who spent 20 years studying this and loves it and genuinely care about you and your path and that of your family and that of your community, and want to just bring goodness to you, want to bring tools and training and motivation and inspiration, and be authentic and be transparent and be goofy, which is, I wouldn't have been able to do this 10 years ago. I would have been fearful of, oh my gosh, I'm going to be judged. Oh my gosh, nobody commented. Oh my gosh. I still have those moments, guys. I'm human. I'm not sitting here, Moses coming down from the mountain telling you I got it all figured out. I'm telling you, I found things that have worked for me, and I've also backslidden. And I find myself and I catch myself and I'm like, okay, whoa, I got to shift. I got to stop. I got to get intentional. Why am I on this autopilot loop of negativity? So that is our training for today. A little bit of hard stuff, a little bit of digging deep. Uncover what is that one or two thoughts that you're having over and over that's limiting, that's holding you back, that's negative. Things that you would not ever say to your best friend who you absolutely love more than anything, right? Think of it that way. Would you ever say these horrible things to somebody you really love? So we got to shift that, because I want you loving you, and I want you intentionally putting the right words in and the right messaging in, and that's what we're going to focus on tomorrow. So be back here, planning on doing it again, 5:45 p.m. Pacific, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. May shift up the time, not getting as many people on live, like I said, which is okay. Still, I see you watching the replays. If you've watched the replay, you can do #replay in the comments so I know you're watching. In the comments, let me know what you're taking away from this. Is this valuable? Is this challenging? What's going on with you? Let me know. The more feedback I get from you, is it hitting home? Is it not? Was something confusing? It doesn't matter what kind of feedback. If it's really negative and harsh feedback, you can give it to me privately. You don't have to put it in the comments. But again, my whole purpose in this is to bring something positive to you that can help you in living your best life, in improving your day-to-day, improving your week, improving your relationships, improving your finances, and helping in your fitness, holistically all the way around. If I'm just sitting here making videos and no one is getting value, what is the point? I need to just shut the computer and stop, okay? Because that is not, I'm not doing this to be a superstar or a celebrity or to watch myself back on camera. That used to be something I absolutely hate. I force myself to do it now because it's a learning experience. But this isn't about that. This is, I'm here to serve you. So please let me serve you. You show up. That's all you have to do. I'll show up and I'll bring the best that I have for that day. I hope you've gotten value out of today. I'm proud of you for taking this time, whether live or on the replay. I appreciate you, I value you, and I say that with all sincerity. Make this an amazing rest of your day. Dig in deep. Let's start uncovering and bringing to light some of these stinkin' thinking loops that you have. Get down to the core of it. Tomorrow, show up again. We're going to start shifting this, giving you some positive anchoring thoughts so that you can truly change your life. Because I believe it was Wayne Dyer. Was that the book? Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. It is true, my friends. It is 100% true. Now, we got work to do. We got actions to take, and we're going to focus on that next week. Like I said, this is a whole formula. It's not just one piece. But thanks for being here. I love it. We got Luna coming back to say goodbye. You guys got both cats early in the training. So if you just are joining us, go and watch the beginning. You get some great cat butts in the beginning of the training. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.